Okay, fellow fake geologists. Today we're going to do a short tutorial on making a fake mineral inspired by our visit to the Harvard Geological Collection. And for that we will be using geometry nodes. So we will start with, I don't care about the shape actually. You could start, as you know, I love starting with cubes. And this can be the base shape of our shape. So I start with a cube and I want to do something closer to a geode, okay? Like if you saw something in the collection that you liked, try to, it's good to have some references or inspiration. So I'm gonna do something kind of close to a geode. Here I have one simple cube, one subdivision, and this I tend to do this a lot. I apply the modifiers so that I can apply this modifier here. I have to go into object mode, press Command A, and then modifiers applied, and then I can apply it again. So I'm gonna make one of those weird, like a less conventional geode shape. And then I will add another modifier, which is a solidify modifier, so that we have a bit of thickness. So that could be shape number 1 in our weird mineral. And then I'll apply, I go back into object mode and apply both things. So this should be, this will be my base shape for the mineral. There we go. The order of application change stuff. If I apply subdivision and then solidify, it looks better in my take. And I'll do right click and auto smooth so that it looks a bit better. Cool. So now to the geometry node part. This is in the geometry node tab. Here we have the thing and there's nothing. So what do we do about the geometry nodes? We press new. And there we have something that is kind of baffling, right? It says group input geometry, group output geometry. So this means we made a graph based on this shape. This shape is the input, that is the output. So this is what you're seeing. It's very simple. If the input is the shape and the output is the shape, then there's nothing special, right? But if I do Shift A here, and I press search, I'll search for point. And I'll do, I'll search for points. And I will look for distribute points on faces. So this is a classic thing. This is distribute points on faces. If I put it here, I have a bunch of points distributed on the face. I can change the density. Look. It's a styrofoam one. And the only issue here now is though that if I render this, it will not do anything because these are not like real points. This is just a graphical representation. There's nothing really there. So I need to create another piece of geometry and assign that. Okay. So we'll do that now. There's a nice truck in front of me, so I'll speak close to here. So here I have the thing, right? We have a group input geometry, which was that weird shape we made. We're distributing point on faces, and this is the output of that. What I want to do though is that to assign geometry to those points. So here I have this other node. The node is called instance on points, and if I just drop it here, it will instance, that means copy a shape on the points. Here I have some other geometry parts, so I can do Shift A, search. You can even type, I don't know, a cone. And here I have other type of geometry, use sphere, cube, etc. So I will drag the mesh of cone into instance. And I will also change the size, scale, so that it's quite tinier, right? Because this is a ton of stuff. 0.02 might be good. 0.02, 0.02. So now you see that I have a ton of cones making up the scene. And I can do this with any of the shapes. So I can take UV sphere here and instance that there, and now it's made out of UV spheres, etc. So if you were to do something like some of the minerals we were doing there, we could say do a scale of 0.5. Or 0.2. Okay, 0.1. And there you have something that even if I look in the render view, it will be visible. I will get rid of these ones, but that would be like a beginning, like a first part of this, how geometry nodes works. Cool things are, if I go back into layout and I edit the shape, like I press edit and I start moving it, I will enable proportional editing here. Like I can affect the shape and the nodes will be transformed, which is kind of cool. But since this was a geode, actually I'll do cube, for instance. And I do run into one issue here, which is that it doesn't look, it looks very Minecraft-y. So we need to add some measure of randomness, right? So I will first of all dial down the distribute on faces so that a little less, and I will add randomness. So randomness is also another node. You can do search and then you do random value. So I did Shift A, I click search and then random value, and I will give it a, I will change the scale, and I will do a scale between 0 and 0.1. So now you see that there is some randomness. So actually between 0.1 and, or 0.01 and 0.1. Great. But it would be kind of nice to have a random value for rotation too, so that they are not always the same time. So I Shift D, I copy this, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to show you something that is a bit weird. I can connect this to rotation, and it will sort of work. So yeah, that would do the trick. But it won't be precise because the value number there is a float number. That means it's a 0.001 or something like that, and rotation is measured in as a vector. And the values of vectors are in radians, which is something I honestly don't really understand. But I would say that it's a number like 5.6 or something like that. So I'll do minimum 0, max 0 on XYZ rotation, and I'll connect that to rotation, and that should be better than the other transformation. And now if I go back, I have this rather pretty thing. Now you will notice also that we lost the base, like the origin of our texture, and you might want to keep it. So that brings us to another important node, which is how to combine shapes. So we have this thing, I'll click this to make this small. So we have that instance, beautiful. If you want to combine shapes, we need to do Shift A, and there is a combine, join geometry, and I will connect this instance to that geometry there, put this here, and I'll connect also my group input, which is my base geometry, into geometry, and that way I have both of the shapes are connected now. So that's pretty cool, that now we have a shape with a weird geometry that I can affect. I can actually see how it looks, and I can modify sort of easily if I press G. This has to do with the token rock, that we can actually modify it. I can even like do some extrusions, and it's even incorporating the shapes, so that's pretty good. I'll actually keep some of these extrusions there to make that rocky thing. The only issue is that it doesn't have any actual color, right? So in geometry nodes, the materials are kind of a not complicated thing, but it requires some methodology. In this case, we have two objects, so we might want to have two materials and call one quartz. And I'll make another material that is gonna be called, it's gonna press new here, and it's gonna be called dirt. Okay, and this one I'll put it like as a grayish color or something like that. And quartz, in the meantime, I'm gonna set it to just a white color, but I'm gonna make it highly specular and not very rough. Good. So now we need to add search here. So that's again Shift A, search, and you say material, set material. And we have these two geometries here, right? The base geometry and the instance on point geometry. So I'm just gonna drop this in the pipe here and duplicate it and drop it in the pipe here. And now I can click on the icon here and say this is dirt and this is quartz. And I could go back, for instance, into quartz and say that quartz is an alpha blend, that it has refraction, some subsurface translucency, etc. And I'll change some of the characteristics. I'll do transmission. I'll also enable on the camera icon there, I'm going to enable screen space reflections and refraction. And work on make it more nicey. So very little roughness, and we need to make the transmission a bit lower. And a bit rougher. And the other geometry, the other material, again, I can just go back here and deal with quartz and change the roughness in case you want to make it a bit different. Most of the density of stuff you can change it actually. And I'll go back into layout, and this would be kind of a first test, right? But if I rendered it on cycles using GPU compute, which is not what I want to use in the end, but it sort of quickly tells you how it will look. I'll add a sunlight and make it really strong because it's a sunlight. And I think we already sort of have some sort of material. Like this looks kind of fancy, right? Yeah. So that would be a first exercise that I would ask you to do. And the next clip is going to be about deciding if you want the geometry to be inside or outside and things like that. But that would be a first test of this geometry node thingy, which is pretty exciting.